Hello there guys, and welcome back to another episode of Rebuilding Histon, and in today's episode we've got another chance of reaching the FA Cup first round for the first time since the 2008-9 season. It will be 10 years, or 10 seasons in this game since the club has made it into the first round. But before we get into that, we're going to talk you through what's been happening since you were last with us, which was the 2-2 draw with Weymouth. We actually carried on our little unbeaten run that we've been on with a smash and grab 1-0 away victory at Hereford. I don't think really much happened in this game except for the fact that Callum Frew picked up an injury which resulted in him being out for the majority of the time since you were last with us, or during the time I've been playing the game off camera. But Jack Hutteridge, based on the stats, yes, they've had 12 shots, 3 on target. Yeah, we had a lot of fouls as well. But Jack Hutteridge scored in the 92nd minute, pretty much a smash and grab from a corner. And yeah, we nicked all 3 points away from Hereford, and it was our first victory against Hereford so far in the 3 meetings that we faced against them. So that was a bonus. We managed to get another 3 points on the board and kept the unbeaten run going. We then went on to play Swindon Supermarine in the FA Cup second qualifying round. Unfortunately, we had to rely on a replay to get through this. As you can see, based on the stats, not very pretty dull game based on the stats there. 7 shots, 2 on target for Swindon. 7 shots, 1 on target, and actually that ended up in our equaliser following Connor Walden's opening goal for Swindon. And we were I was happy to actually leave not losing this game, because it would have been an absolute disaster if we did lose away at a lower league team. Yes, FA Cup upsets happen, but it's not very nice if you're the team that's being upset, if you see what I mean. If you're the team that should win, and you end up losing against a lower league team. But yeah, one of those things that we managed to that's one of those things really. But unfortunately, we were then taken to extra time against Swindon Supermarine in the replay. Fortunately, though, we managed to get the win with Josh Green scoring after 106 minutes. After again a not very clinical performance from both teams. 10 shots, 6 on target for Swindon, 16 shots, 4 on target for us, and we just kind of, based on the shots, we kind of edged it, except for the fact that they had a few more on target on their side. Yeah, and our conversion rate was 1 in 4 shots were on target compared to their 3 in 5 shots that were on target. So they kind of, I think, deserved to win the game. I can't remember exactly if we had more clear-cut chances, but I'm not 100% sure off the top of my head. But I'm happy to get through, and we managed to advance into the third qualifying round for the third consecutive year, which was absolutely amazing. Yeah, and we carried on that momentum into another league game away at Redditch. And as you can see, based on the times of the goals, I thought, oh, we could easily run away with this after being 2-0 up inside 27 minutes. Yeah, I thought we could easily run away with it. But based on the chances, we didn't really have anything else afterwards, which was a bit disappointing. And then Danico Johnson pulled one back in added time in the second half to give us a couple of nerves towards the end. Luke Harding also picked up an injury, which was not very good for us, and that's actually had a detrimental effect to our recent form after this game, but which I'll explain in a minute. But it was an important 2-1 victory, considering Redditch are actually doing pretty well this season compared to what they were last year, where I think they did beat us though the last time we did play them. So it was nice to get a little bit of revenge and get that win back under our belt, and we continue our little unbeaten run. Unfortunately, though, our unbeaten run came to an end with a 3-1 defeat to Hampton and Richmond, and we just weren't out of the races for this game. Yes, we had 13 shots, 4 on target, but Hampton and Richmond had 11 and 8 on target, with Nick McCooty getting a hat-trick from that game. We were 2-0 up in the space of 47 minutes. Ryan Williams then pulled one back for his first of the season after 53. Then Simeon May decided to get sent off whilst we were chasing the game, which was not ideal. And before McCooty completed his hat-trick in stoppage time whilst we were pushing players forward to try and grab a late equaliser. So one of those things, I guess. I was hoping to win this game, considering the form that both teams were in, but as one of those things that happens in Football Manager or in football in general, where you're just not out of the races and the other team just beats you on the day and is better than you on the day. So, we kind of I'll start again. We kind of then bounced back a little bit with a 1-0 victory in the FA Cup, again, this time away at Basingstoke. Only goal of the game coming from James Difford, but Basingstoke didn't really create anything either. So that was, it was a bit disappointing, the fact that we couldn't capitalise and score more with our 10 shots to only 2 on target. But Basingstoke didn't really create anything on their side, so we had nothing to worry about. and we advance into the fourth qualifying round for the second consecutive year, which puts us one round away from the first round, which is the game we're doing today. So that was a bonus. I thought we were going to be out of the little blip that we had against Hampton and Richmond, but unfortunately, we then lost 1-0 to Truro in a game which was actually quite close. There weren't any highlights in this match, but one mistake from Jack Utteridge conceding a penalty resulted in Jamie Richards putting Truro 1-0 in front, and resulting in Truro taking all 3 points away from this game. I was upset at the time when this happened, but if my mind was in the right place after the Hampton and Richmond game, then I wouldn't have been as upset as I was. Yeah, one of those things, I guess. Truro, top team. I think that they were in the playoffs at the time. We were just outside in 6th place at that stage of the season. So one of those things where Truro were better than us on, again, just getting the crucial decision going towards them with a mistake from our side. That results in the game being decided and Truro taking all 3 points. So yeah, I think that's two straight wins that Truro now have against us. So I'm hoping to stop the rot the next time we do play against them. We then ended up having a disastrous 1-0 defeat away at Dunstable, who were in the relegation zone when we played them at this stage. Daniel Talbot's, again, a game which really nothing was being created. I then went on the attack to try and smash and grab that winner, but they ended up doing the smash and grab instead, running down the other end whilst we committed players forward, and Daniel Talbot scoring the only goal of the game to make it a 1-0 victory for Dunstable, which I was absolutely furious at because we haven't been able to create anything, even with guys like James Difford and Josh Green. Josh Green's been dropped actually for the last couple of games because his rating has not been very good. And Marshall Kutung came on, but he hasn't really impressed either. So the goals have dried up front, which is not good, and we need to somehow rectify that somewhere along the line. Because it's now, I think after that, we then had a 0-0 draw with Salisbury, which has resulted in us failing to score in 3 games of football, which is 3 hours, and then 4.5. I haven't scored in 4.5 hours of football, or we've only scored once in 6 hours of football if you include the FA Cup match. So we've really gone through a dry spell in terms of the goals. We've got to start scoring at some point. As you can see, based off the stats, Salisbury, I'm trying to think if we had yes, we had one good chance I think in the game, but we weren't able to claim it, and unfortunately the game ended up 0-0. I think that was actually a point gained in my opinion, considering the run of form that we'd been on, and the fact that Salisbury were in 2nd place when we did play them at this particular stage. So we haven't actually lost to Salisbury so far in our career against them in the 3 matches we played. We beat them twice last year, which was fantastic, and we've picked up a point away from home in this stage, and we've temporarily stopped the rot in the league, but unfortunately we've only picked up 1 point from 12 games. And all of that has resulted in the league looking like this. We're now down to 12th place after being as high as 4th. If I get the past positions up. Get Hampton and Richmond off. Oh, sorry. Get Hampton and Richmond off, please. Thank you. So as you can see, we were as high... we were 4th after match 8. But then since match 8, we've just dropped all the way down to 12th place in the space of the next 4 games. That's what considering that was the run of 1 point from 12 possible 12. So yeah, that's what can happen if you go on a bad run of form. And as you can see, we're actually closer to the relegation zone than we are to the playoffs now. So we really need to step up here and actually get our A game here. And also because of our goal drought, both Josh Green and James Difford have disappeared off the top goal scorers list. As you can see, Dan Fitch has always got 19 goals in 13 appearances. He actually got 5 goals against a team that I think it was Weston-super-Mare that they played at that particular time. I was like, how the hell has he got 19 goals already? But that's mainly because the reason why he's on 19 is because of that 5 goals he did score against Weston-super-Mare. But for us, the goal scoring has stopped, which is not good. And yeah, we're now only 1 point better off than what we were at this stage last season, compared to where we were in the previous episode, where we were 4 points better off after 9 games played, I think. Was it 9 games or was it longer than that? I can't remember. I think it was after 9 games we were 4 points better off, but after 12 games we're now only 1 point better off. So it's a definite bad run of form that we need to rectify here. Not in this episode, but in the whilst I go off camera after this break from the league in the FA Cup. So without further ado, let's get into the FA Cup match. We're up against Ebbsfleet United, who currently sit in... Let's have a look and see where they are. They're currently sitting 18th in the National League at the moment, so they're 2 points clear of the relegation zone. as it stands. So it looks like they're in a little bit of a relegation battle at the moment. So can we take advantage of that and put our bad run of form behind us and create a cup set? As you can see there, I think 1,995 tickets have been sold for this game. I would absolutely love it if we were able to get into the first qualifying round. Not first qualifying round, first round of the cup. I'll be absolutely delighted, and we will be earning a lot of money when it comes to the FA Cup prize money that you get given if you do get through at this stage. So here's the team that we're going to go for today. Callum Frew is coming back from injury, but I'm not going to play him because of his condition, and he's still got that injury over him. So I'm going to keep Danny Waldron on. I'm going to bring Simeon May back onto the pitch. He had a very interesting last couple of days. He actually left the club to go and play for someone else, but then I signed him back because I thought we need that depth in the midfield, and I thought, you know what, Sutton Cohen aren't going to have this guy too easily. I'm going to bring him back. So he's already played one game in his second spell with us. So yeah, that was one of those things. He's going to be on the bench today, I think. Let's see who else we've got. Jordan Goff, Jay McCartan. I think the back four looks alright. Osifua, Harding, Otteridge and Carrillo. Waldron and Davidson in that midfield. Steve Reed, Justin May in the attacking mid-right and attacking mid-left positions with Difford and Josh Green. I think Josh Green, hopefully he's learnt his lesson from being dropped in the last couple of games. So let's hope he can bounce back. We're actually going to bring on, I think, Stephen Cox for Jay McCartan, just to give us an attacking midfield option, just in case someone goes down with injury. I could play the 4-2-3-1 instead, which might suit Justin May a little bit better. Let's see what happens if I do that. It brings Callum Frew on, unfortunately, which we don't want to do. Justin May to the centre, and then attacking mid. No, screw it. I'm going to go for our standard formation because I think it will be the best for us, and we're going to have to redo all the substitutions again. Sorry about that. Let's get everybody back on that I want on the bench. Jay McCartan goes off. Stephen Cox on. Marshall Katung, Ryan Williams. I'm going to give both our strikers, both bench strikers on to put both strikers, reserve strikers, on the bench here today, just in case James Difford and Josh Green aren't firing on all cylinders, which they haven't been doing in recent weeks, which has been frustrating me. So without further ado, I think I'm happy with that. Bills in goal, Osifua, Harding, Otteridge, Carrillo at the back four, Alfie Davidson and Danny Waldron. But I'm going to switch Waldron and Davidson around. That's why I forgot to do that, because Waldron prefers to be a ball-winning midfielder. Steve Reed and Justin May on the right and left. James Difford and Josh Green up through the centre. So actually, I'm going to take off Stephen Cox and bring on Brian Schmeichel because for the bench, because I can drop Josh Green to attacking mid-left if I want to take off Justin May, and we'll see what happens from there. So without further ado, let us get into the FA Cup match at home to Ebbsfleet. Let's see if we can get a good positive result today and end our little poor run of form outside of the league and get ourselves into a surprise first round draw. We've got a little interview here. Just going to go for that, and hopefully that will allow us to play well. As you can see, they've got Callum Higginbotham actually, who used to play for Rochdale way back when. And also they will have numbers. Jake Jervis, who used to play for Plymouth, I remember his name because I remember watching Plymouth play Liverpool in the FA Cup in January, and Jake Jervis's name did ring a bell. I'm pretty sure he did play for Plymouth. Yes, he did. He got released and Ebbsfleet signed him up. And also, see anybody else? Danny Kedwell, I also recognise from the Football League. He's now 35. He actually joined Ebbsfleet ages ago, but I do remember him. Yes, I do remember him at Gillingham, primarily in the Football League. But he's been at Ebbsfleet since 2014-15. So it's been one of their prolific goal scorers. He's had double-digit goals every season, apart from his first season at the club. So he's done all right for himself at the age of 35. He's probably coming towards the end of his career right now. But let's hope he doesn't come on and break our hearts today, and we can get a positive result today. We're going to close him down if he does come onto the pitch. So without further ado, let us get into the game. Let's passionately get the players hyped. It doesn't look like that has worked, unfortunately. Only one player looks delighted, which is not good. Get the midfield motivated. Nope, this is not going well. Nope, no, only one player looks delighted throughout, so this is probably not going to go well as we kick off the game. Ebbsfleet kicking off from left to right, and we are off underway in the FA Cup fourth qualifying round. Davison finds Waldron, and that's the end of the highlights. Alright, throw in on our side. Davidson to Osifu. A ball in towards Green, but it's intercepted. But May's there, and it's a weak shot or header, and it's straight into the hands of Stanek, the Ebbsfleet goalkeeper. He will now hoof it up, and that's the end of the highlights. Apparently that went down as a clear-cut chance, which I don't understand, because it didn't look like it was a chance to me at all. It's now half-time, and it's still 0-0, based off the stats. Ebbsfleet, I think, probably deserved to be in front. We did have the clear-cut chance, though, which, in my opinion, didn't seem like a clear-cut chance. I'm going to go for that and see if that does anything. Yes, the players look motivated now. This is good. Hopefully we can get a chance at some point to that we can take, and then that will make us hopefully favourites for the rest of the match. So if we start the second half right now, we'll have to see what happens here. We may have to change it up depending on if we score or if they score, and we will assess the situation right now. As Higginbotham now is on the ball. We'll play the ball to Sellers, and that's the end of the highlights. Right, we're coming up towards the hour mark. I'm actually going to make a substitution here because Alfie Davidson has been a little bit crazy when it comes to his fouling. So I'm going to take him off because of his yellow card, and we're going to get a bit of fresh pair of legs. So we'll bring on Simeon May, who likes to play at the deep line playmaker role, and we'll start there, and then we might make a change up front actually to see if we can affect the game on that side of that side of the ball. I might actually go attacking, but I don't know what to do. I don't know whether to not risk it at this particular stage. Oh, corner for us. Reed puts the ball in towards the mixer there, but Deering clears it away. Here's Osifua. Might play it back to Reed, but he puts the ball in towards the box, and Stanek is there to claim it for Ebbsfleet. He will now boot it up the field, and it looks like Higginbotham might win that, but Utteridge has. Here's Lewis for Ebbsfleet. Carrillo's now won that. It's a bit of head tennis there. Here's Powell to Pavel of Ebbsfleet. Waldron has brought him down though, and it's the other central midfielder that's going to be sent off today, and we are now down to 10 men with 25 minutes on the clock still to play. Our situation has gotten a little bit worse. We're going to drop May into defensive midfielder because he can play there, I think, based off that. We're going to keep him as a deep line playmaker role. At the deep line playmaker, we're just going to drop him back into that defensive midfield role. And we're also going to take off Josh Green and bring on Ryan Williams or Marshall Gutung. I'm going to go for Ryan Williams, I think, because Josh Green hasn't really performed at his best today. And Ryan Williams hopefully can give us a fantastic... Oh, I'm going to go for Passion, and hopefully he will be... Oh, he seems deep in thought, so fingers crossed. Let's see if that makes a difference. Oh, free kick for Ebbsfleet. Deering takes a shot, and it's gone straight into the back of the net. Bills looks like he was wrong-footed there, and Sam Deering has scored his first goal of the season for Ebbsfleet, and that's put Ebbsfleet 1-0 up. Okay, here is the highlight. It's a simple free kick just outside the edge of the D, and Deering takes a shot, hits the wall, and that's why Bills was wrong-footed, and that's really, really unfortunate that has gone against us there. And we're going to make a final substitution here to see if we can rectify that. We're going to bring off... Oh, I've taken off Josh Green. That's probably that was the worst decision, I think, because Justin May's not having a great game. Neither is Steve Reed, though, so we're going to bring on Brian Schmeichel for the last couple of minutes, and we're also going to go on attacking as well. We're now going to go on overload now, because with less than 15 minutes to play, we just need to try something. We're going to also pump balls into the box. Let's see what we can do right here and make a difference. See if that makes a difference. It doesn't really make a difference if they end up scoring a second, because yeah, the game would probably be over by that point. But we've just got to try and do something. But it doesn't look like we're able to do anything at the moment. And based on the stats, like Ebbsfleet deserve to win it, despite us having the clear-cut chance. Which, although I did say earlier on, it wasn't a clear-cut chance. So it's really Ebbsfleet deserving to win this game as it stands. As the corner comes in from Deering, and Jervis is there to head it in, and that is game over. Jake Jervis with his third goal of the season. I've fallen into the Football Manager curse of naming a player before the match, and that has resulted in us conceding a goal at the corner. And Jervis is there to win the header ahead of all our defenders, and it's 2-0 Ebbsfleet with a minute and a half to play of the game. And here's Difford, though. It's an instant highlight here, but he's gone past Tingay, but he's gone straight into Deering, and here's Pavel through on goal, and he's made it 3-0. Nice little dink over Bills, and Andre Pavel has made it 3-0 Ebbsfleet. With the pretty much the last kick of the game. It's now the 94th minute of added time there. Pavel was just pretty much cleared through on goal. I'm surprised he wasn't offside there, but it was a nice little finish from Pavel to make it 3-0 Ebbsfleet, and they're going to be thoroughly deservedly going through to the first round. And our wait to reach the first round proper of the FA Cup does continue, as Ryan Williams gets a ball towards Difford. He might win that, but he wasn't able to do so, and that's the end of the game, unfortunately. And that is a 3-0 defeat to Ebbsfleet. They're saying I should be disappointed with that result, with that performance. I'm going to be calm and say that, and see if that makes a difference. Yes, that's good. We're not going to listen to my Russ Thompson there. He was being a little bit weird, considering the fact that they are a higher league opposition, and they just really took their chances, and we didn't really create anything throughout that game. We've got a question to deal with. I'm going to do that. See if that will make any difference. But yep, one of those things. Another defeat at the last stage of qualifying. That's 2 straight times we've made it to the 4th qualifying round and we've been knocked out. But Ebbsfleet deserved to win that game based on the stats. Yes, we had more possession, but we just couldn't create anything meaningful against a National League side. So we've got to try and rectify that as the team improves and gets better, and hopefully earns promotion out of this division as soon as possible. But we've now got important games coming up, especially this away game at Poole, considering that they are 23rd in the league and only have got 8 points so far. That is a definite must-win, and we need to get back to winning ways from that. We've got a Southern League Cup match against Winchester as well, so that'll be good to hopefully try and build some momentum from that, as they are in the division below. And fingers crossed we can get a little winning run on our hands. Okay, in terms of what game to do next, so we've got quite a few games coming up thick and fast here, but they could easily all be rearranged if depending on how we do in the FA Trophy. We're up against Leiston in the first round, so fingers crossed we do get through in that particular game, because Leiston are currently a division, but yeah, they're the same division as us actually, and they are in they're first in the Ismatham Premier Division, so that might be a tough game actually to win. But it would be nice if we did win that and we qualify and get further on in the competition, especially as the board wants us to get to the 3rd qualifying round like we did last season. So I'm kind of tempted to do Leamington at home. That might be a very interesting game. Or Hayes and Yedding. Oh, Leamington at home, because we've already played Hayes and Yedding before on a live com. It just depends on whether the FA Trophy does anything to that fixture. We may end up having to play that a bit later on in the season. But maybe play someone like Ashford Middlesex. We'll just have to see how this all goes. I'll definitely be playing these next couple of 4 games, or even 5 or 6 games, and I'm hoping to get to try and do the Leamington game. But depending on what happens with the FA Trophy, etc., we may end up having to reschedule that, and we might play something like Ashford Middlesex away from home. Yeah, because I don't really want to play Hitchin again, as we've already played them a couple of times in the live comms. So I want to kind of play someone different every time if possible. So I'm going to target either the Leamington game or the Ashford Middlesex game, or even Stratford away. But Stratford are the bottom of the league, and they are really, really struggling at the moment. And Ashford Middlesex, we used to play in the a couple of seasons ago when we were in the division below. So it'd be nice to have a little reunion with them after they got promoted this season. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode, despite the unfortunate result. Let's hope we can actually get back to scoring. As you can see, it's now 7.5 hours where we haven't scored a goal. Oh, 7.5 hours where we've only scored 1 goal in the space of that time. So we really, really need to get something going here. So without further ado, I hope you guys did enjoy the episode. If you did, please leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you for next time, which will either be Leamington at home or Ashford Middlesex away. So until then, see you later.